Hi guys, it's Rob from Royal Balls. Just as I said in yesterday's video, the Silky Way female looked like she was going to lay today, and sure enough she has. She's sitting on a clutch of eggs. So we're going to pull the eggs and let you guys follow through on the process of setting them up in the egg box and cleaning off the female and getting her back into the racks. So let's take a look. Okay guys, we have a clutch of eggs to pull this morning, the one on the left in the bottom tubs, and these tubs at the bottom have been jury rigged with heat tape. I don't normally put heat on my racks, they don't need it, but for the gravid females on the run up to lay eggs, I've jury rigged these bottom two tubs to have a little bit of back heat, so they have a 32-degree hotspot, and the purpose of doing that was to see whether I could get the females to lay eggs a little bit quicker after pre-lay shed. Typically my females take 36 or 37 days. The first clutch this year took 37 days from pre-lay shed, and you will notice there the dates on the tub here. She was a little bit late with her pre-lay shed. It took nearly 3 weeks, 20 days from ovulation to her pre-lay shed. Hence the 2 dates on there. She actually shed on the 17th of May, and sure enough this morning, 30 days, she's laid. So we're going to pull this clutch of eggs. It appears to be working with the maternity tubs. The second clutch I had was delivered in 32 days, this female in 30 days, so it does appear to make a difference. So we'll stick with that. We'll move her to a different spot in the rack when we've taken the eggs, and we'll move the next female down into the maternity tubs. So let's just open the tub, and here she is. And I was asked a question by one of my viewers this morning: how do I know that the female has finished laying eggs? Well, I've opened the tub here and it's now 10 o'clock in the morning and I'm about to pull the eggs. My females typically lay eggs in the early hours of the morning, right at dawn, so she probably laid this clutch around 6 or 7 o'clock, so we're 3 or 4 hours further on, and I haven't disturbed her. She's had plenty of time, and you can see from her position that she is now tightly coiled around the clutch of eggs. She's very aware, very alert. She knows what's going on here. She's being a little bit defensive, but I can already tell from her body position coiled around the eggs. She's gathered the eggs up into a ball and she's coiled tightly round them. So given the time of day and the fact that she is tightly coiled, I can already pretty much see that she has finished laying. She's done. You can see the eggs in there. So we're going to pull this clutch, and I'll also show you what to watch out for, but I can tell just from looking at this female that she is finished, she's done. So let's get on and pull the clutch. Okay, so I've pushed the camera back a little bit so that you can see what's going on the table. I have already pre-prepared an egg box, and that has come out of the incubator. Out here in the tropics it doesn't matter so much because it's already warm at room temperature, but if you live in cooler climates, make sure that your egg box has been in the incubator for at least a couple of days and it's all nice and warmed up, so when you put the eggs in you don't chill the eggs. Not so much a concern for me here, but that's just something to think about. The clutch looks fairly small, looks about 6 or maybe 7 eggs, so it'll all fit into the one egg box. I've got my tissue and I've got a tub with just warm tap water in it at the moment, and that's to bathe the female. We'll go through the process of washing all the scent off and putting the female into a new tub when we've taken her off the eggs to get her back on food. But initially I'll put her in just plain water so that she can rehydrate if she wants to drink, and then before I put her into the new tub I'll just add a drop of washing up liquid into that and just wash her off before I put her into the tub to make sure that all the scent has gone. So let's get on and get the tub out here and we'll take a look at the female and the eggs. So just removing all the paper from the tub so nothing gets in the way. Take out her water bowl. So let me just give you a close-up of her sitting on the eggs. There you go. and she's already quite curious to see what I'm doing, so we'll get her off the eggs and get her washed off. Yep, she is quite alert, so I just use a kitchen roll or something just to cover her head. You can use a towel and just take hold of her. Yep, she's hissing a little, and what I'm trying to do here is unhook the tail from around the eggs. Easier said than done. Okay, and again the female, you can see how concave the belly is right down to the bottom. You see that? Right down to the bottom there. The female belly is very, very concave. See that? Well, she was, and you can just run your fingers down the belly and it's quite obvious that she is completely empty. So we'll put her in the water, and now you can see the eggs. The eggs are sitting there in a nice clump. We've got 6 good eggs and no slugs. This is a first time female, so I'll mark that down on the card. 6 eggs, 0 slugs. Not bad for a first time female. And I'm going to leave the eggs exactly as they are. I'm going to put them into the egg box exactly as they lay. I'm not going to touch them at all. I can see that all these eggs are good eggs. I'm just going to mark them for way up. The eggs are still quite soft. They were only laid this morning, so I can feel they're still nice and squidgy. And I will candle the eggs to check for veins, but notice I'm not going to reorient the eggs. When I put them in the egg box, I'll leave them exactly as they are, which is why I've marked them before I lift them out of the tub. I don't need to change the orientation. They'll go into the egg box exactly as they are, whether the embryo is on the side, whether it's upside down, whether it's at the top, it doesn't matter. That's how they were laid, that's how she coiled around them, and that's how they'll stay. Typically, I have found that there's no rush to do this. It's not cool in the room here, so the eggs are not cooling off. They're perfectly fine as they are, so we can talk about it for a little while. I will candle the eggs just to show you guys the veins, but I'm not going to candle them to reorient the eggs. In my experience, provided that you get the eggs within the first 12 to 24 hours into the egg box and you don't jiggle them around, how they lay is how they stay, and it doesn't matter what the position of the embryo is. I have not found it makes any difference to my hatch rate at all. The eggs are clumped together. If there was a loose egg, for instance, that had obviously rolled out, I would take the opportunity to reorient that. It's possible to do that really easily, and there's no point not doing it, just for peace of mind if you wish to do that. But these eggs are all stuck together and they'll stay exactly as they are. So let me just candle them for you. This egg here I'm separating off because I don't actually see any veins in it. So let me just check. I do not see strong veins in this egg, so what I'm going to do is to put that to one side and put that into a separate egg box. This egg has an embryo. This egg has strong veins. That egg also. I can see veins in this one down the side, but again I don't see veins in this egg here. So let's just pull that one off. Have a look. And yes, I do see veins in this one, but it's completely upside down. So again, I'm going to put that one into a separate egg box. You just make sure that they're well away from the sides. There's a good air gap all the way around there, leaving the eggs exactly as they were laid. I have 2 eggs here that apparently do not have strong veins, so I'm just going to put them into a separate egg box, just to be certain if they do go bad, they don't take the rest of the eggs with them. So let me just go get another egg box for these 2 eggs. So there we go, I've got a smaller egg box to put these 2 eggs that don't have very strong veins in. Put them in this egg box. Just to keep them separate, and we'll see how they get on in the incubator. Okay, so she has laid, and we'll put laid 16th of the 6th into her tub, and she's going to go into a new tub here. Next female is due on the 19th of July. So we will move this female into the bottom tub where she's got some heat. She's just going into shed now. Due to shed on the 19th of June, so that's right on schedule. So I rotate the snakes into the maternity rack as they lay their eggs. So this female is going to go into this tub up here. We'll get rid of that tub and we'll put her into a completely new tub here. We'll wash her water bowl off, so she has a completely new water bowl. We'll just get her washed off with a little drop of soap into the water just to scrub her off. There she goes. We'll put her in the tub, all washed off. She's wondering where her eggs are, and we'll stick her back in the rack. So she can now rest. One thing that I forgot to do, I need to weigh the female. Get a weight on her as a reference. Post lay she weighs 1315 grams, 1315 grams. 1315 grams. 6 eggs, no slugs, although 2 of the eggs didn't look particularly strong veined, and we put those into a separate tub just to be on the safe side, and we'll be reporting back on that later. Okay guys, I have that female's tub to wash off now. You saw that when I candled the eggs, 2 of them didn't have particularly strong veins, so we got 6 good eggs apparently, no slugs, but I put 2 of the eggs into a separate egg box just in case, the 2 eggs that didn't have very strong veins. We'll see how we go on those eggs, but they are in a separate egg box to make it easier to pull them out of the incubator should they go bad. So 4 good eggs, 2 that look a little bit questionable in a separate tub. We'll see how we go. We'll just remind ourselves of the Pastel Pied Male that was used as the sire for that clutch. This is a proven male. He has bred for me several times before. In fact, we've got some of his holdbacks in the racks now. So that's the male that we used, bred to the Silky Way or Leopard Ivory. So everything should be Yellowbelly Hertford with a possibility of leopard in there, and an outside chance that that female is actually a Hertford female, so we may possibly get some visual pieds, but we're not counting on that, and this is the male that we used. Okay guys, it's a bit sweaty in here. I've actually had to close the door because typically the guys to service the air conditioning units came round this morning. The female just laid eggs, so I had no choice but to pull the clutch, so I've had to close the door on the snake room while the guys out there are working on the ACs, and I'm sweating buckets in here. So that's it guys, thanks for watching. Don't forget to share, like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.